If you like to laugh, and who doesn't, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to My Funny House with the Powell brothers. Frank Powell is a real estate broker who was born and raised in San Diego, along with Frank's brother Mark, a real estate broker who also lives in San Diego. Each week, the Powell brothers bring in a special guest comedian to share hilarious real estate stories so you can learn what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership. So now, let's get into it. With My Funny House, here are your hosts, Frank and Mark Powell on The Answer San Diego.
Good morning, San Diego. Happy Saturday. My name is Mark Powell.
And my name is Frank Powell.
And we're the Powell brothers. Thank you for tuning in today to My Funny House. We have a very interesting topic this morning, something that a lot of people are very interested in. And you've seen a lot of TV shows about it, and it's called house flipping or house rehabbing and for a profit.
That's right. That's when you look for a good deal. You buy the house. Your intent is to not live in it, is to fix it up, repair it, put it back on the market, and make a profit.
So before we go any further, we would like to welcome our guest host and our favorite Australian producer of Comedy Heights, Maria Herman.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning,
Hey.
Maria.
Hey, how are you guys?
It's your brothers out here. Can you see us?
I know. My brothers from another mother.
That's right.
They and this week I am so happy to have as our guest comedian one of the funniest men in San Diego and certainly one of my best friends in the whole world, the one and only Tony Calabrese.
Yay!
Yes.
Frank, we have to bow to Tony. Bow to Tony.
Kiss the ring.
Good morning, San Diego.
Good morning. Do we have to kiss the ring this time
We
again?
have to kiss the ring, but it's hard through Zoom since we're looking at them through
Okay.
a computer.
Well,
So we'll save it.
Frank, today we're talking about house flipping and house rehabbing, which are kind of two different things, but they both involve rehabbing a house. Can you just explain to the audience out there what is really house flipping?
Well, house flipping is when you have hopefully a team or a company that can go inside of a house, usually comprised of a general contractor, somebody who knows construction really well, can evaluate a property, can see whether or not it is worth purchasing, and if there's enough rehab in there to make a profit. So it's usually houses that other normal people who are buying a house won't buy. There's just, a cracked foundation, there's a hole in the roof. I mean, a huge hole. Something's wrong with the property.
Are they always homes that are in desperate need of repair?
No, depending on the market. If you look at the market right now, you can buy a house and flip it. Probably don't even have to do much. Just hold on to it for a couple months. But
true.
that's a weird scenario because it doesn't happen that much. But true flippers is a team of people who can go in there and make a profit off turning a house
I think
over.
Tony knows a little bit about
So
it.
listen, I have to tell you first, before Tony weighs in, that when you talk about house flipping, it sounds a lot like my marriage to my husband. When I first found him, I did think there were a few flaws in the foundation and a hole in the roof, but I thought I could get him there, and then a quick flip onto wife number 4 is what I was thinking, and there would be a small profit involved. And I ended up holding onto him for too long, and the flip didn't happen. I just
Oh, okay. House flipping husbands. That's common in California.
Yeah, you usually don't make any
exactly.
money though.
Have you been flipped,
I'm
Tony?
already offended by this whole thing. Oh, no, because Maria said Tony's going to weigh in, or somebody said I'm going to weigh in. Starting out the fat jokes already this morning? What's wrong with you people?
Oh God.
No. With the house flipping, though, I just want to share something with you and with the whole audience, Frank. Do you have to be a realtor to flip a house?
No.
Is it better to be a realtor or better not to be a realtor?
Well, if you're not a realtor, you should have a realtor involved because it's really depending on what the market is. Remember, realtors' number one job is to tell the person what the current market situation is. A lot of people call us all the time, Mark. You know it. Hey, I'm looking for a flipper. I'm looking for a house in San Diego that I could just turn. And the bottom line is it's not the right market for that, is it?
Well, no. Some people even say house flipping is unethical
Why would they say that?
because they think that some people might go into a house and do the really low grade kind of improvements, or even we call it, like lipstick on a pig, and then try and sell it.
Another fat joke. There you go.
I have a question.
Yes.
What are the most common types of like updates or like adjustments, rehab? Now I'm thinking about rehab. Maybe I'm thinking about you, Tony. Sorry. What kinds of improvements is what I meant? Improvements.
Tony, come on.
Tony.
How common?
How can Tony improve any more than he already is? He's already there.
Well, I tell you, I don't get no respect. No respect at all. No.
Okay, so we're talking about rehab, but not the kind of rehab Tony's at. We're talking about rehabbing a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Like the best improvement.
Okay, so
Like most
just think
common.
about this, all you listeners out there. You are driving by a neighborhood of your choice, and you're looking at a potential house that's going to be for sale, and you look up at it, and it has 4-foot weeds, and the fence is knocked down, and the roof looks kind of like wilted, and the paint looks bad, and the front door looks good. No, you're not passing my brother Mark's house. No. So it's just like, so what you want to do is you want to have curb appeal. The first thing you want to do is attract people to go inside the door. Okay, so we're talking about paint, we're talking about fencing, we're talking about grass or fake grass, we're talking about hardscape, landscape, the proper plants to put around it.
But most of the time, you won't find the fake grass because it's very expensive.
Yeah,
But you'll
that's true,
find
too.
fresh sod, you know.
Yes.
And a lot of them like to use chips, wood chips.
Yeah, which is
A lot of wood chips.
What you really want to look for is obviously, I mean, the roof is a hard one because unless it's completely dilapidated, all roofs look about the same. You don't know if it's 10 years or 20 years old, but you want to look at the condition of the paint, the condition of the wood surrounding, like the eaves, supports that are
Well, new
holding up
paint,
porches.
new
and new
paint.
paint.
Yeah, you're gonna see new paint, new flooring, probably
flooring,
new
right.
appliances in the
And
house.
new appliances, right? Sometimes, oftentimes new flooring because it's easy now to do the flooring. They use a lot of vinyls and ceramics.
What about wood chips? I mean, you use them on the outside. What about the inside? Remember they used to have, like the peanut bars, a peanut shell cracker?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot. You'd know if an intruder came in if you had wood chips inside the house. I'm just saying a whole new idea on security. Maybe.
Do you remember the houses in the?
Hey, time out.
Yes.
Maria, you had wood chips in your home just to the left of your entryway, if I remember.
Well, that's true, but that wasn't we're directly in the walkway. I did have wood chips inside my house.
Did you really?
I had a garden, 2 gardens inside the house.
How big was your house?
Huge.
Like
was
close to 11,000 square feet.
Jeez.
Oh, small compared to mine.
Small, tiny.
It was
Yeah.
a shack. It
Yeah,
was a
that's
little
the
shack.
love shack.
That's like my accessory dwelling unit is 11,000 square feet.
11,000
Yeah,
square.
that's big.
That's all of our
So
houses.
she could fit mine's 1,000 square feet, so I can get 11 houses into Maria's house.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, quit talking like that. I don't like that kind of multiplication.
Okay, so anyway, that's what you look
Wait,
for.
Tony's going to tell us about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say if anybody needs to borrow a wood chipper, I'm just saying.
Oh God.
Good go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go to Tony's house. He
Yeah.
has them lined up in his garage.
Tony owns
like-
a wood chipper.
Yes, well, that's what he's.
Yeah.
That's what he's
I
getting.
rent them
at.
out.
If you ever,
I don't want Tony's wood chips. I don't want your chips.
you don't want to have to clean it either.
His wood chip is usually found on a boat.
his wood chipper on a boat. That's funny.
All right, I quit. If you guys are gonna make all the jokes, I quit. I'm out of here.
No, continue. What else are we going to talk about? Flipping
Okay,
houses.
but when you go into a house, like Frank said, you're going to look for flooring. But also, this is what you have to look for. What is the quality of the
Upgrades.
flooring and the upgrades? I mean, if you're getting a new oven or a new refrigerator,
particle board versus regular
right?
wood
yeah,
in your cabinets.
you don't want the absolute lowest grade because that's what we're talking
They got
about.
the people now who are painting the countertops. They're using acrylic
Yeah.
paint
Yeah.
as opposed to putting
Yeah.
real granite. They have all these resins now.
What?
So, wow.
Yeah,
that's
they
kinda-
paint countertops. Yeah,
they make them look
Wow.
like stone.
It's
Looks
just-
cool, but I don't know.
I don't know if
I
it'll
think the
last.
value is really there, right?
Yeah,
Kinda.
the amount of money you probably would want receipts from the person who flipped the house. Go, hey, can you give me some receipts? How much money was put into there? Because if
Yeah,
you get
I don't know if you're going
receipts,
to get that, but it'd be nice to have at least.
well, it's part of the
uh,
disclosures, isn't
well,
it?
with the appliances, you want all the warranties, you do want the paperwork and stuff like that, but I don't think they're going to tell you like we use this much paint, this gallon over here. I mean, they usually
Well,
don't give you-
and there is also a big difference in the quality of paint, you know.
Oh, paint's huge quality difference. So everything that you buy in the house, there's always a lower version and a super high value. That's why when you redo a kitchen, you could do a $5,000 remodel, or you could do a $250,000 remodel on the same space in a kitchen. So just know who's doing it. If it was for sure, if it was manipulated, that there was permits pulled on it, the electrical's fine. You got the electrical contractor in there that knows what he's doing. The plumbing's not shady, that you're not going to get a leak, 6 months later and so forth.
I want to ask a question. How can you tell if a house has been flipped, Frank? Is there a way to tell?
Sometimes there's not a way to tell, but the best thing to do is what we always recommend: get a home inspection.
A home inspection before you flip the house or after you flip the house?
Well, if you're going to flip houses, you want to get it before and after. You want to go in there and assess the damage and see what you have to repair and do an estimated cost of what it's going to take to rehab it and flip it. If you're buying it, let's say now it's all done, it's really beautiful, the sign's up, and a person walks in, it may look really, really nice, but you want to make sure you know what's behind that paint. You want to make sure what the
Right.
materials they used. Want to make sure, a lot of things that you can't see with the eye, get a professional in there. That's why we recommend.
Was buying a flipped home bad? What do you guys think? Tony, Maria?
Well, if I was selling the house, I would be doing it a lot. Like I would hire celebrity lookalikes to walk back and forth outside while people were there and saying, "Oh yeah, George Clooney lives right across the street," and then
In Temecula.
I would say this particular house was the birthplace of modern jazz, that kind of stuff, because people love modern jazz. I would make all sorts of stuff up to sell. I wouldn't do a lot of stuff to the house. I would do stuff to the area, to get people.
Have you guys have you ever seen on television, there's guys that are sitting on the hoods of beautiful Ferraris or nice Lamborghinis, and they say, I can teach you how to flip a house if you follow my simple plans. Do you think
With other people's money.
is that actually something you can do, Frank?
Well, maybe somewhere in America, but it's hard to do in San Diego.
Listen, I can do lots of things with other people's money. And if they gave me their money, I would show them exactly all the things that I could do with their money. I think you have to be careful if you're thinking about giving your money to somebody else. Ever.
Whenever there's a package to buy or a subscription to attain, and the commercials are usually like 11 or 12 at night, and we're sitting there and you want to get motivated to change your life and you see this thing, it's very easy to get sucked into that.
Right.
So you got to really say, why would I want to do this? Do I know houses? Do I know construction? Do I know how to flip? Do I know budgets? Like if you don't know any of that, it's not as easy as it appears on a commercial, 30-minute infomercial.
Right, and who's this guy named Flip anyhow? Who is that guy? Why is he Flip the Flipper? What? Is he a dolphin?
There was that guy on the yacht. Remember the guy that was on the yacht? And he had girls in bikinis all over him.
Yes. I was never invited on that yacht.
For only 1995. Yeah, but what? Well, we'll talk about that.
I didn't have a bikini.
What's the rule of thumb? Like in California, I know it's like you're not supposed to spend more than 150% of your income on your mortgage, but what's like the rule of thumb for like percentage of what you're trying to buy the house for versus sell the house for?
Well, there's
a rule.
there's a 70% rule, which means it's 70% of the after repaired value. So if you're buying a house, you don't want to pay for the initial cost of the house more than 70% of the after repaired value. But Tony, I'll tell you where this gets a little complicated. Some people who have a house, who maybe they're thinking about selling, they may get a phone call from a house flipper that'll say, I'll buy your house cash right now. But if you're the homeowner and you know about this 70% rule, they're going to give you less money than you would if you would call, let's say, the Powell brothers, and we would actually just put your house up on the market, and then you get all the house flippers calling you to find out if you can get the most money out of it. Because I suspect that once the house is advertised on the multiple listing service, no matter what shape it's in, you'll probably get more money than you would from a house flipper.
Well, absolutely. When one person calls you, there's competition. So even if that flipper wants it, there's other flippers that would want it. So you want to put out to the general public all the time. It's really easy to get sucked into that. Hey, I'll buy it. I don't care what's wrong with the property. But no one really cares what's wrong with the property. As long as you disclose what's wrong with the property and there's a solution to fix those problems, then at least it's out there. So don't get suckered with the guy that's going to give you all cash and lowball the heck out of you.
Buy it all cash right now.
Right.
Right now.
You'll lose thousands and thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars when you do that. So always do your due diligence and don't bite onto the hook.
Yeah.
Just don't do any digging in the backyard. Is that what we're saying here, guys?
Well, for selling your house, no digging in the backyard.
Find the bodies.
Hey, in fact, there's also rules that you're not supposed to bury pets in your backyard, but we know everyone does that too. So
Really?
There's a
well,
rule
I don't know if
about
everyone does it, but a lot of people do it. I buried my dog in the backyard.
Oh, I remember that.
Well, what am I supposed to do with him? I'm like,
Yeah.
he's my best friend. So
I had a goldfish. I buried a goldfish
in
my
the
kids.
toilet.
No, we
you
actually
flush
buried
it?
the goldfish.
Oh, that's cool.
It was a big ceremony.
You'll have to disclose that if you ever sell your house.
Yeah, I have it written down.
And find out.
21 flush salute.
Yes.
Yeah.
21
Hey, what's the
flush
average
salute.
profit a house flipper can make? Just on average, what do you think it is?
I have no idea.
I can tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
The average profit is $30,000.
Oh, I was gonna say 25. I should have faked it.
Well, if you're
Doesn't
doing
that depend on what you're flipping?
well,
Like, what if you're flipping a mansion?
Well, you have to typically.
Well, that's the top part of the number, right?
That's an
Not the
average. So
average.
That's an
so
average.
so when you're a flipper, you're not just looking at one. You're looking at like 10 houses to flip. Some of them be a bomb and cost you $100,000, and the other one you profit $100,000. So now you're at even, and then then a couple you get $30,000
Right.
on. So the average is 30,000. However, if you want to learn how to do any of this, you want to make sure you call the Powell brothers because we can guide you. We do know how to do it because we have flipped houses. And there's always a right and a wrong way. There's always the way it should be and the way it really is.
it's not like it is on TV where they show the guy, I spent this much money and we did this. They don't show you the crew of 50 people that are behind the camera
Always.
that are doing a lot of the hard labor.
Just think of anything you've ever done with your house. It's always more than you anticipated. Even painting, then you go, I don't got the right tape. I don't got the right, I don't want to get the right brushes, the right equipment. You realize it's always way more than you think. So just times that in a bigger.
I tried to change a toilet once, and but prior to changing it, I wanted to unplug it. So I went to the store and I
Well,
bought.
that sounds like a normal day for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say. Probably had a lot of goldfish stuck in there.
Yeah.
That's why.
No, I'm going to warn.
was a-
I'm going to tell you a story that you guys got to be really careful. I bought one of those plungers with a CO2 cartridge, and it comes with a plastic cover that
What?
has a seam in it. And I didn't know
Yes,
what this
true.
cover was for because, like a typical guy, I'm like, "What is this?" It's got a hole in it.
Don't read the instructions.
Oh,
Just-
and when I put that in there, I thought it was just going to be like a BB gun where you get a little thing. The whole plunger unloaded, and I'm going to tell you, I had to put crime tape over my
yeah, face.
running.
Dear.
It was a mess. Believe me, you don't want to do that. Don't.
Listen, I think it's great for people to go out and flip houses because there's some people that don't want to do the renovations anyhow. They just don't want to do the work. There is something that I think would be that a lot of us would like to flip and make a profit on, and that's our children. If you think about, now listen to this. Listen, if you think about how much money we actually put into this investment, and then they leave, and what returns do we get? I mean, that's somewhere where I feel like there ought to be a greater return.
Usually
I'd
they
like
never
to be-
leave.
I'd like exactly that doesn't
Your
help
kids
either.
left.
You got lucky when they leave. We're gonna have a next show called Flip the Kid. Flip this kid.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Frank,
flip this kid.
here's another.
I like that.
We have another question here. How long, typically, on average, does it take to flip a house? On an average, because you got to hold the
Depends.
house once you buy it.
Exactly. Depends how many men you have and how heavy it is to lift. So
I would say that's a good one.
What do you think?
I'm thinking
I would say 3 months, 90 days.
It's actually the average amount is
days?
180 days, but in order to do it and make
So that's
a profit,
6 months.
yeah, in order to do it
Okay.
and make a decent profit, it should be 90 days.
Yeah, I mean, I would get in there. It depends on what your crew is. You could do a lot, but there's also permit issues. So if you're going to redo a bathroom, you have to get
Right.
the permit. You get delayed because of COVID. You're going to get even more delayed. Ordering parts now, plywood went up. Even like a front door could take you 4 months to get because the chain of products is being stopped.
And with COVID this last year, it's been a big delays,
Everyone knows that the prices went up. So before you think about flipping a house, go to your local box store and figure out how much a piece of plywood costs. It was it went from like $25 to $65 for a good sheet of plywood. $65.
What?
Oh yeah.
Plywood's
Yeah, you gotta-
everything has gone up in price. So the margins are very slim.
Tight.
And for flipping a house. So
You got to be a numbers person. You got to look at the economics. It's a professional gig. So
Yeah.
there are people that do it. They're ethical. They're pros. They're good at it.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about doing it to get some side money, you'll typically
Very
fail
difficult.
and be bankrupt.
flipping a house
be careful.
is not an easy thing to
Yeah,
do.
it's not a task for the rookies.
Right.
Yeah,
Let me
so
ask you guys a question. Let's say,
Go ahead, Tony.
let's say you got 100. Let's say you got 100 G's, okay?
Yeah.
And you find some place for 50,000, so you still got another 50,000, right?
Mhm.
So you buy it for 50, and then you fix it up, and then you sell it back to yourself. Is that a good way to make sure that your money is not
It was like the guy who it's like the guy who
Wait,
bought the change machines.
That's all I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, about the change machines.
Remember the
Okay, listen, we got to wrap it up. We already went 22 minutes. This is a good topic. We could go on for hours on flipping a house.
I love Tony talking about having a spare $100,000.
A spare.
Yeah.
We're all dreaming.
Yes.
I love it.
Tony, how do we get a hold of you if we want to hear some of an excellent comedian? How do we get a hold of you?
Facebook, Instagram, TonyCalabrese.com. My dry bar special's out now.
Awesome.
How do you spell Calabrese, please? Real quick.
CALABRESE.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Maria, how do we get in touch with you over there at the comedy?
I'll be watching Tony Calabrese doing his shtick on Dry Bar. I've seen it once already, but I'm going to watch it again because it's so funny. And all his Dry Bar hits have gotten like 1 million views already.
Awesome.
So check it out. It's amazing. Otherwise, Comedy Heights and Twigs and University Heights, Comedy Heights opening up at the end of May. Very exciting.
That's great. And if you want to get a hold of the Powell brothers, you can look us up at powellbrothersrealty.com or give us a call at 858-922-7725.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week with another good topic. And thank you, comedians. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
We know.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us today for My Funny House with the Powell Brothers, right here on The Answer San Diego. Join us next week as the Powell Brothers bring you more funny stories of what can go really right and what can go really wrong with home improvements and home ownership, and bring the laughs to you with yet another hilarious guest comedian. To find out more about the Powell Brothers, be sure to check out their website at powellbrothersrealty.com, or you can visit myfunnyhouse.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next week for My Funny House on The Answer San Diego.